अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नारायण पराद्वेदा देवा नारायणाङ्गजाः नारायण परालोका नारायण परामखाः नारायण परो योगो नारायण परन्तपः नारायण परं ज्ञानं नारायण परागतिः। तस्मात् तेन मनसा भगवान् सात्वतां पतिः श्रोतव्य कीर्तितव्यश्च ध्येय पूज्यश्च नित्यदा। जयति जगति मायां यस्य कायाधवस्ति वचनरचनमेकं केवलं शाकलय्य ध्रुवपदमपि यातो यत्कृपातो ध्रुवोऽयं सकलकुशलपात्रं ब्रह्मपुत्रं नतास्मि। सर्वेभ्यः नमस्कारः. We are seeing the Narada Bhakti Sutras, and we saw that in that supreme state of bhakti, we just ignore everything else. We do not consider anything else as more important than that bhakti because we are enjoying that bliss. And in this shloka, that is a sutra, that is Sutra 10, Sri Narada Maharshi explains about what is the meaning of Ananya. We say that Ananya Bhakti, Ananya means undivided, not separate. Na, Anya is Ananya. So Ananya, what is that Ananya? He explains it very clearly. Anyashrayanam Tyago Ananyata. Anya Ashrayanam, that is Ashraya means dependent. Anya Ashraya means dependent on other things. That is that Tyaga, depending on other things. When you renounce it, that is Ananyata. Ananya means na anya, not different, that is Ananya. When we live in this materialistic world, before experiencing that Amrita of Bhagavan, before experiencing that bliss of Bhagavan, an ordinary person will think that all that we experience from the external world, it can be person, it can be relatives, it can be objects, it can be wealth, it can be money, it can be status or anything. That gives us happiness, and that's why we all are running after it. So we are dependent on the other things, the external things. When we are dependent on anything external, when we are dependent itself, what we are dependent on, that will affect us. Sometimes it gives us happiness, sometimes it won't give us happiness. Even the very close relatives, sometimes if they are in mood, they will make us happy. Sometimes if they are in not that great mood, then they will insult us or we will feel somewhat. So what all we are dependent on external things, that will give us only dukkha. Sometimes, majority of the times it gives us dukkha. If we want to buy a big house, so long and we have to put our effort and strain everything for so long, in the end only we will get that house. And that also, it will not give us complete happiness. We have to go maintain that house. For that, lot of money and energy will be spent in that. So whatever we depend on external things, it won't give us complete happiness. And it is also temporary. It won't give us happiness at all time. So what we are all dependent on, it won't give us happiness at all time, and it is temporary also. Most of the times it gives us only dukkha. But when we experience Bhagavan, and mostly when we experience Bhagavan as our antaratma, then it gives nitya trupti. Even when we are dependent on some temple, or when we are dependent on some pilgrimage places, or if we think that only while doing puja we get happiness, even that is dependency. We are dependent on that Vedic rites. We are dependent on that temple. So one day when it's bad weather, we are not able to go to that temple, then our mood will go off. We won't get that tripti. So when we want Nitya Tripti, we have to experience that Bhagavan who resides as our Antaratma. Only then we get complete bliss. This doesn't mean that a person has to be passive. He should ignore everyone, not respect anything, not respect money or our relatives or any other job. It's not like that. Narada Muni doesn't say that. What he mean by that is we have to respect everything because everything is Bhagavan, but we should not be attached to it. Attached to it in the sense, if it comes, okay. If it doesn't come, that's also okay. When we are dependent on anything, that is money or anything, or money or relatives or any other object, then that state of that existence will influence us, and sometimes it will drag us down, sometimes it elevates also, but even if it elevates us, it is not permanent. So we should not be dependent on anything external. This doesn't mean that we have to be passive. We have to ignore that or give due respect for it, and then place our mind above all the situation. That is the real meaning of Udasina. Udasina means ignoring everything, not respecting anything out of that egoistic sense. It is not like that. Udasina, that the meaning of the word Udasina is Udasinata. Ud means high. Asinata means place to sit. So we have to take our mind above that ordinary level of existence. When we experience the bliss of Bhagavan by our Parama Prema, then automatically our mind stays above all these levels. With Asinata, our mind will be in the higher state above all this. So then, whatever comes to us in that lower level, we are not concerned about it. We do not care for it, or our mind is not attached to it. This is what Narada Muni means by it. We should respect everything because everything is the form of Bhagavan, but we should not be attached to it, not even to money, because money is, as we all know, it is so temporary. Sometimes it will come, even when we put hard work, it won't come. Sometimes we will take everything easy, then it will come. When it, if it, even if it comes, it will go the way as it came. And moreover, we cannot achieve all the thing in this world by money. There are definitely something, at least some matter which cannot be solved by the problem of with money. Still, the problem will exist. So it doesn't mean that money solves us all the problems. It is one of the way to solve our problems. So if you are dependent on that, then if that money cannot solve the problem, then we will be dragged to that lower state. So it is better to experience that bliss of that Atma and keep our mind above all this and be independent. That is the real independence. Independent means nowadays it has a very wrong concept. Some people will say that I am financially independent, I am emotionally independent. All that are not independent. Do you think that any person can be financially independent? No. He needs a salary. He is dependent on the salary, and he needs a firm or any organization to give him the salary. So he's dependent on that organization. He has to obey the rules and norms of that organization, or it may be university or anything. So a person cannot be completely independent. He can think that I am independent because he is not getting or receiving money from the person who are very dear to him. Maybe he is receiving the money for the work he do. He has to depend on that organization or that government or quasi government organization or whatever it be to give him the salary. So, whatever matter it may be, a person cannot be completely independent. A person can be completely independent only when he depends on his Antar Atma. which is the Rupa of bliss, and that is our real nature. By time, the layers and layers of ignorance covered that bliss. It is just like your mirror completely with dirt and dust on it. It cannot reflect that sunlight. So just like that, our mind is covered by layers and layers of ignorance, and that's why cannot understand the bliss all of a sudden. So for the in the initial stages, we may need a vigraha or a form of Bhagavan, or we have to go to temples to get that feeling, to understand that feeling of bliss. But only Bhagavan as Antaratma, he shines in our mind. Only that gives us complete bliss and happiness, not anything external. And we go to forever places. We want to go to Kailasa, we want to go to all the Jyotirlinga temples because we feel that Bhagavan resides there. The place where Bhagavan resides is Kailasa. The place where Bhagavan Vishnu resides is Vaikunta. Why not it be our mind and our in our body? So that is Kailasa. That is Vaikunta. We need not go for to a long distance as a pilgrimage to see Bhagavan. We can see Bhagavan in us if we are trained. For that, we have to renounce everything, and that renunciation comes automatically. When our bhakti takes us to the higher level, then renunciation automatically happens. And that is why the great acharyas say that you are that Tattvamasi, you are that Bhagavan, you are that pure consciousness. But we do not realize it, or we do not believe it, because we say that it is good for the rishis. Only for the rishis they can realize. But if Bhagavan is in all of us, there is no place where Bhagavan is not there. And it is our responsibility and our knowledge to realize him in us. And many philosophies, different philosophies is also based on this. In the initial stages, we see Bhagavan as another person, as another form, who resides in our puja rooms, or who resides in the temple, or who resides in Kailasa or Vaikunta. So that is Dvaitam, seeing Bhagavan as different from us. In Visishta Advaitam, we see him as a spark of us, as a part of us, just like how the fire and the sparks. In Advaitam, when our mind develops, then we don't see Bhagavan as different from us. So these different philosophies, or the different steps in the ladder towards attaining that supreme, and they are not different, and there is no low grade or high grade in it. It is just like what Sri Hanumanji said here, that when I identify myself with the body, then I see Bhagavan Sri Ram as different from me. He is my master and I am his dasa. When I identify myself as the jiva, then I see Bhagavan Sri Ram as a part of me. When I identify myself with that Atma, then I do not see any difference between myself and Sri Rama. So it's all the evolution of the mind. What all exists here are the different forms of Bhagavan. They are not different from Bhagavan, and there is no exact drishtanta to explain it. Uh, we can say that it is just like how the milk changes into curd and butter, clarified butter. All this, that is the curd, butter, and clarified butter, that is ghee. All this have all the vitamins of the milk, calcium, proteins, and all that. So we can say that as a drishtanta, but there is no exact drishtanta for it. So seeing Bhagavan not different from us, completely devoted to Bhagavan, when we experience that bliss in us, that is Ananya Bhakti, undivided Bhakti. This Bhakti should not divide the Bhakta and Bhagavan. That is Ananya Bhakti. We have to be in that same frequency level of God. So that is Ananya Bhakti. And in the next sutra, Sri Narada Muni explains that how such a Bhakta should live in this world. And the next sutra, Sutra 11, is Loka Vedeshu Tat Anukula Sharanam Tad Virodishu Udasinata. So, how to live in this world? How a bhakta will live in this world? Such bhakta of great Ananya Bhakti. How should he live in this world? How should he conduct his life? Till he reaches that supreme being, attains that supreme being, he has to live in this world. And this world is of two types, Laukikam and Adhyatmikam. Laukika means completely secular and Adhyatmika means completely religious and spiritual. Majority of the people will be Laukika. They are involved in that worldly activities. They may follow the Vedic rituals and bhakti, but they experience the bliss from the outside world, and which is very temporary, and it is mixed with dukkha also. So only people go after that because they know only that once when a person experiences the bliss of Bhagavan, then he will never turn towards the world. That is for sure. Because all that are assured by the rishis, it cannot be wrong. But till the one person experiences that bliss, he will naturally think that the outside world is blissful because he has not experienced the other side. So a bhakta should not be infatuated by the external world till he reaches that position of that high grade bhakta. Once when he experiences the bliss of Bhagavan, he will not go. But still then he should not be influenced by the outside world. When he is influenced by the outside world, then he cannot turn in this direction, that is the direction of bhakti. So he has to keep his mind above that ordinary level, udhasinata. So, Loga Vedeshu Tad Anukulata Acharana, what are all are conducive to our way of life, to our way of bhakti, follow it. Acharana, follow that. Where we can, for example, we can go to a satsang. It is also a worldly activity, but that induces our bhakti only. So we can go to temple, whatever is anukulata, acharana, follow it. Tat virodishu udhasinata, but what all are comes as an obstacle for our bhakti, what are all obstacles for us to go above this level, what are all our obstacles for that, whether it may be situation, object or person, udhasinata, you rise your mind about that level. So many people may influence us, they may doubt our bhakti, they may ridicule us, they may slander us, they may criticize us, they may judge us in a wrong way. Udhasinata, keep your mind about that level. Do not be influenced by that way of life, Narada Muni is telling. At the same time, we must not complain about this world, should not be affected by the negative remarks of whoever it may be. We should not complain about them, backbiting, fault finding, because once when we develop this habit, that is when we are interested in backbiting or finding fault in what all we say, then it becomes a habit. We cannot remain without finding fault in anything. As before in my last videos also I said, this world will definitely will this world is as it is. The way we see, we perceive it, that there's a difference in it. I may not perceive this world the same way as you perceive. So the defect is not in this world, the defect in how we see it. So fault finding is a habit. When we once when we do it, we keep on. We want to do it again and again. So even if that situation is not conducive to for us to practice bhakti or not aligned to our state of mind, udasinata, make your mind about rise your mind about that level and to not criticize it or slander it. But Narada Muni says. And what a bhakta should not have that shortcomings like angry, jealousiness, and he should not be passive also, because when he see anything adharma, he can correct it in the right way. With that, he has can leave it, not discuss about it, criticize it, and fault always finding fault with that system or with that person. All this will lower our mind. A bhakta cannot be judged by his behavior or by his lifestyle, because it is Ananya Bhakti. How he relates with Bhagavan is very important than his lifestyle or whatever it is. So, we should not find fault with anything, with another person or another system. At the same time, when others find fault with the bhaktas, he has to keep his mind above that level, udhasinata, sit above that level of, and should not accept that to our heart or to our mind. So that is what very clearly explained in these two sutras, because when a person becomes spiritual, automatically egoism will come to him. So, in whatever other things, if he is egoistic about it, I have studied well, I have a very good job, I am rich, whatever ego or superiority complex he may have, spirituality will dissolve all that. But when a person is egoistic about spirituality, I know that, I know the Vedas, I know the everything, I have studied this, I have studied this scripture, then it is very difficult to bring him to the normal state. Then he has to experience so much as the repercussion of his mental state. So, Narada Muni advises for the beginners of bhakti to keep their mind above that a level, that udhasinata. Whatever comes as conducive atmosphere or situation, we have to accept it. All the others, we have to ignore it. This is the advice Narada Muni is giving to his bhaktas. All the great bhaktas will be like that. They do not care, or they do not attach their mind to the ordinary life situations. They too may experience difficulties in life, but they take care to keep their mind always detached from the worldly life or from that external situation that affects them. So, in my next upload, I will continue with the rest of the Narada Bhakti Sutras. Om Namo Narayanaaya.